Welcome to Open Arms, an honest conversation about firearms. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Brian Lockerman, and today's episode is brought to you by Bursa Firearms. Bursa you can trust, and Open Arms, an MB Studio production show. Today in the studio, I have a really special guest with me. I have our NRA certified instructor, Michael Cabrera. What's happening, Mike?
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Love having you here. Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have a little over 20 years of law enforcement experience. I also worked for one of the major firearms manufacturers, as you know, for about 10 years. So I've got a lot of good information, but the biggest thing that I pride myself in is safety. That's number one in my book.
100% there, Mike.
Number one.
Yes. And that's why I think it was so great to bring you aboard the Open Arms show back, 12 years ago we started working together? Yeah. I watched you and your techniques of how you taught your safety classes, and you're above the rest because you tapped on things that a lot of instructors don't tap on. Right. One of the particular ones that always sticks in my brain, always, is the ammo thing. You always enforce that if you have loose ammo, you make sure you mark that box of ammo so you know what you're loading in your gun. Correct. Because that happened to a buddy of mine. He was at the range, and I was with him, and he was trying to jam his gun like that. I was, what's going on? I went over to him, looked at it. He had 40 caliber and a 9mm handgun. It could have been bad.
That could be catastrophic. That's
exactly. But again, like I said, these are safety things that you always enforce, and I love that about you.
Right. The thing about folks going out to the range, it's really important. It starts way before you start loading magazines, right?
That's correct.
It starts when you wake up that morning and decide, or the night before, hey, I'm going to go to the range today and do some shooting, right? Yep. So you get yourself prepared like you do. Most people, I think, get up in the morning, they brush your teeth, comb their hair, wash their face, have some coffee or whatever, and they get on the road and they go do their job. Well, it should be the same when you're getting ready to go out to the range. You should be thinking about, okay, do I have my ammo stored properly? Do I have the right ammo? Do I have the right magazines for my weapon system? How am I storing them in my vehicle? So that when I drive to the range, I look and appear to know what I'm doing. Yep. Not like some of the people you see that just willy-nilly start yanking things out of their trunks and their bags to look cool, and they don't think about the safety factor.
Oh, I know it. And the thing about you, Mike, you're very humble. You mean business when you're at the range.
Yes, I do.
But you're very humble, and people like that. You're not screaming at them, you're not yelling at them, you're not, putting them down. You're just you're tapping into them. Well, and they listen. And
that's I'm surprised that you noticed that because that's confidence is really important about being out at the range. If you're not confident, then you're going to make mistakes. You have to know what you're doing. Don't try to act like you know what you're doing. Know what you're doing, right? Practice like you play like you practice. And if you do that, you're going to have a lot of fun at the range, and you're going to find yourself teaching other people these same safety skills, because the last thing you want to do when you go out to the range is be there and watch all these other people that are practicing unsafe practices, okay? Yeah. And it happens all the time. You've seen it.
It does. And it's a funny story. You just mentioned that. I brought a very lovely friend of mine to an indoor range for the first time ever, her first time shooting, okay? Now, when you're in an indoor range, you got all these other people side by side. It's very loud in there, and it freaked her out because she didn't know if these people were trained in a safe way.
Correct.
And she kind of made me think, that's true. You don't know how trained they are, and you're in this closed environment. You don't know some guy's going to be, throwing a gun around and stuff like that. Right. And those are all the important things that you teach. And I love the fact that you have a classroom, you take them out to live fire, and then you go to their home, and you definitely train them how to store that gun, how to retrieve that gun, what to do if there's a bump in the night. Because I have a lot of friends that buy that gun, load it, and throw it under the bed, and that's it.
It's not good.
I know.
And that's one of the things that we're going to be pushing to teach is it from the beginning, from the time, like I said earlier, from the time you load your trunk with all your gear to the time you get home and you pull it out of your trunk and you start to clean. The safety doesn't end when you're off the range. No, it ends when your magazines are empty, your slide is locked back, and if you have a device in your slide to keep your slide open, you can tell that gun is safe and you're putting it in your safe. If you're getting it ready to store under your nightstand or in whatever container you have, safe container, under your bed, in your closet, wherever that might be, that it's ready to go, but it's in a safe condition.
100%. And one of the things you always tell people, you always treat that gun no matter what, that is loaded.
Absolutely.
And you pick it up. And you know what, Mike? I listened to you, and I'll tell you why. I purchased a brand new firearm. It was a Colt M4, sealed in the box from the factory because I have an FFL, shipped to me directly.
Sure.
I opened that gun up, pulled it out, brand new, pulled the charger back, and the live round flew out.
Not the first time I've heard that.
So I'm saying you
It
always
happens.
treat your gun
Yes.
like it's loaded, no matter
Yes.
when, how, where, everything.
Rule number one of
Absolutely.
NRA safety is treat all weapons as though they're hot.
Yeah, 100% on that one.
From the manufacturer or not, because you got humans loading those things. And I'm not bagging on anybody that works for any firearms
No.
manufacturer or putting a gun in a box ready to ship. It happens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. It slips through the cracks.
Yep.
You know, you just got to be aware.
Yes.
That's all there is to it. And, you know, Mike, if we can save one life by this project we're doing our job. But I think we're going to save more than one life. I think it's going to wake up people.
I think so too. And I think one of the things that I enjoy also is that since we've known each other for almost 15 years now, when you talked about wanting to do a show, I thought, I don't know. And I didn't want to pass judgment, but I wasn't satisfied until I got to spend some time on the range with you. If you remember, we were doing your deal on the gun store, right?
Oh, yeah.
So and I made sure that we checked all the weapons, and you kept telling me, no, I've cleared these. Thank you, Brian, but I'm going to check them also, okay?
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about what's going on in the news right now, but you see what happens when you trust someone else's judgment, especially around firearms. So we are always cautious, and we both kind of read off of each other now and know how important that is.
I do, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you for you doing that. That's fantastic. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, it's part of the deal.
One other thing, Mike, that is a big subject right now is the mental health issue in gun ownership. And as you know, we partnered up with Walk the Talk America, which is an amazing organization that focuses on that.
Yes.
And back in the day, we really didn't have anywhere to tell people to go and get help.
Sure.
But now we do. We have this organization that does nothing but focuses on that.
Sure.
And, you know, I think right there is going to play a big part in helping a lot of people out and save some lives as well.
I agree, because we have more people buying firearms now.
Oh.
But those same people, some of them have family members that have mental health issues. Maybe now is not the time for you to be purchasing a firearm to have in your house. So it's very smart that we have people that can help with the mental health issue, because that's where it begins. It's not the gun's fault. It's the hands that the guns are getting
100%.
into. So, and we can't blame them, because some of them don't know any better.
Yeah.
But why would we want to take a chance and risk someone's life of them taking their own life with a firearm if it's in the house available to them?
Another thing that I think, which is a good thing that you stress too in your class, is the verbiage and how the media twists things around. In fact, it happened to you.
Yes, it did.
Recently.
Yes, it did. We did a podcast, not a podcast. We did a kind of a service announcement right in the very beginning, and I talked about active shooters. And in my world, an active shooter is a person that knowingly goes out and spends time on the range. They practice the safety stuff. They put their targets up. They load their guns properly. They store them properly. They clean them in a safe manner. That is an active shooter to me, a person that's actively going out and spending time to teach themselves. Not what the media says nowadays, calling an active shooter, and it very well could be, but it's apples and oranges. It's 2 completely different things.
Well, it's just like the AR-15.
Yes.
What does AR stand for?
Armalite.
Exactly. But the media, assault rifle.
Exactly.
It's always assault. Let's put assault in front of everything.
Sure.
Oh, he had an assault pistol.
Yeah.
The heck is that?
We just need to do our homework. And
I know.
Doing your homework before you go buying a pistol is just like doing your homework about the safety rules. Go on the NRA's website.
Yes.
Learn all the safety regulations and rules. Know your local state and county rules and regulations about firearms, storing, transporting, shooting, safe ranges, and especially going to the range and watching the people around you.
Oh, yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is be prepared yourself and have somebody that is not prepared, doesn't know what they're doing, crank a round off in your direction and destroy something, right?
That's
because
true.
that
That's
round's
true.
going to go somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
you
I'm
pull the trigger.
glad you said that about the state laws, because they all differ. And you got to make sure where you are, you got to learn your state laws.
Absolutely.
You know, because one state could be very regulated, one state could be just it's so different out there.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to say also that I think is really important in all of this, is that when you're going to buy a firearm for the first time, whether it's a pistol, an AR, a shotgun, whatever it is, don't just sit there and study the test and then take the test because you just want to buy your pistol.
Yeah, exactly.
Understand the information that's on there for you. It's there for a reason. They're trying to keep people safe. We want to keep people safe. And the last thing I want to do is be the preacher that's out there talking about safety and do something stupid by flagging someone with my muzzle or getting shot by someone that's not taking care of their business.
Exactly. So what do you think, Mike? Do you think one safety class and they're good to go? They're done for life?
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. Just like driving a car. If you don't drive your car every day, it's a perishable skill.
Yeah, I always tell people, the more safety classes, the more training you have, the better off you'll be, the safer you will be.
Well, in my opinion, and we've talked about this before, and you know how I feel about this, if you and I can teach 10 people how to operate and use a handgun and transport a handgun and clean a handgun or any firearm safely, and those 10 people go out and they each take 10 people, what are we doing? We're growing the knowledge in these people. We're teaching them through what we're doing in the very beginning. That's why I think this show is so important.
100%. There's nothing like this on the air.
Right.
I mean, most shows you see with hunting and guns, stuff like that.
And blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
That's great. But in the real world, if you're buying a pistol
Exactly.
for home protection, that's the way we need to train.
I agree.
Protection.
1,000,000%.
And it should be fun, not protection of the home. It should be fun to say, today we're going to go out and we're just going to shoot at some targets.
Yeah.
And have some fun.
No doubt. Well, Mike, again, it has been a pleasure having you as part of this project. I can't tell you what you brought to the table for us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm enjoying this a lot.
It's great. So anyways, I look forward to a good season, a new season of Open Arms.
Yes.
And it's going to be great.
I agree.
People are going to tune in.
Yeah, and I hope that the folks out there that like what we're doing get on our social media, ask us questions. If there's something we talk about and they want a little more information, feel free to contact us. I hope they do. And hopefully you'll get some people on the show that we can discuss certain things about, because this is no boundaries here.
100%.
Right?
Whether you're for guns or against guns or in between, whatever, if you want to be on our show and speak your opinion, please contact us at the below information. We'd love to have you on. We'd love to hear what you have to say. And Mike, there's one last thing we're going to tell our viewers, and that is
Safety,
family,
and the
Second
Second Amendment.
See you later.